welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to do a video on how to make Snickerdoodle cookies. By the way, people are cutting the grass, so don't mind that. Before we go into the video, if you don't know, I've recently just got a laptop, so we're going to go over the ingredients. 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, a half teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of softened butter, 2 cups of sugar divided, 2 large eggs, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Those are the steps, and then we're going to enjoy them. So you're also going to need a medium-sized bowl, a large bowl, 2 different whisks, and a cookie cutter, a larger bowl, and a pan. So the first thing we're going to do is put the pan on the stove and preheat the oven to 350. Okay. In a large bowl, stir together the flour, baking powder, and salt, and set aside. I'm just going to give it a little stir around just to get everything mixed all together very quickly. This is going to get set aside, and in a slightly smaller bowl, we're going to put in the melted butter, and you don't have to use 2 spatulas, but you can if you want. Next step is butter and sugar. This is 1.5 cups. And the reason it's not 2 cups is because these are Snickerdoodles on the top, half of the cup is going to go. So we're going to mix this all together. And it helps, it says softened butter, but it helps if you do just go ahead and melt it, because if it's just a little softened, it's not going to mix too well because it's still a little hard. So it just helps me. Personally, you can do whatever you want, but I think it's a little tip to go ahead and just melt it fully, because if not, it wouldn't be like this that fast. But this is what it looks like, and now we want to add in 2 eggs. Just gonna add them in and mix. This part might take a little while just because they're eggs, but to mix that all together. Until it's a light yellow, kind of like an applesauce consistency. And now we're going to grab our dry ingredients, and we are going to add half, because if you add the whole thing, sometimes it overflours it and you mix, like your arms start mixing. So if you do half at a time, it just helps to make it all incorporated a little bit easier. So we're mixing this. And for today, this is going to be a part 2 video. Today I'm only going to be baking half of the dough, because my other big sister Claire wants some. But they're gonna be, I want her to have hers fresh tomorrow because she can't come today. So we are just making the dough. And it looks a little, like there's a lot of flour on the side, but that's okay, because once we go in, no more later, it'll be just fine. We're gonna add the other half of flour, salt, and baking soda. And we're gonna mix more. And while we're mixing this, in a smaller bowl, we have added some cinnamon and sugar, because they're Snickerdoodles and that goes on top. So guys, there's going to be part 2. So while I mix this, after I'm done mixing, you'll see the dough. We're going to put them on cookie platters, sprinkle cinnamon sugar on top, and then we'll have the part 2 tomorrow. So it's almost coming together, and it's almost there, just a little longer, and it'll be there. And here's like a little poll to do, because you can't comment. Would you rather have chocolate chip cookies or Snickerdoodle? I like chocolate chip cookies, or I love chocolate chip cookies, but however, those are always at like parties and stuff. But if they're Snickerdoodles, and Snickerdoodles usually aren't at like parties and stuff, but if there is, I will always eat Snickerdoodles. I love Snickerdoodle cookies. Is it almost there, just a little bit longer because there's still some flour at the bottom. But that's the beauty of it. So it's taking a little long time, but that's just fine. Let's go to have some. Okay guys, so I think this is all done. So this, it just helps to flatten out with this one. So I'm going to scoop all this dough off just so I can get a better just so I can really flatten it out to incorporate all the flour, because that is very important with any cookie, or with anything really, when you're baking. Just make sure all the ingredients are incorporated. So I got this recipe off Pinterest, and if you don't know what Pinterest is, if you don't have Pinterest, I would definitely download it, and because it's a really cool app that you can, when you log in, you put like what you're interested into, and every day you can scroll through and it has all your topics that you chose, and you can learn how to do, you know, like cooking recipes. You can learn cool stuff, how to braid if you're into fashion, if you're in like house and room decor, it has great ideas, and of course baking. So I am going to do a lot of baking on my channel because I found a lot of cool recipes, and this is one of them. I wanted to start with this one, and I think the next one I'm going to be doing is probably, I think I'm going to do apple pie bites for my dad. Not the next video, but probably the next baking video would be the apple pie bites for my dad. So this is what's going to look like. There's a little bit of flour on the bowl, but that's just fine. So we're going to get your cookie cutter and your cookie pan, and the oven's already preheated, but I'm going to just put this, and I'm not going to do all of it like I said. Oh, it's hot. I'm only going to do a little bit because my sister wants some, but they're going to be fresh tomorrow. I'm not going to necessarily only do half. Usually, if I was going to make a whole batch, it would take up 2 pans. But for this, I'm just going to do 1 full pan, not necessarily half. Probably going to have about 9 cookies with this, so it's good. It's a little tight, but that's just fine. You can move them up just a little bit, and we're good. Just gonna finish this. Two more. Okay guys, so the next and final step is to sprinkle the cinnamon and sugar, mixture on. Wash your hands, and you can just do it with your hands. Take a little scoop and put it on top. Now that process might take a long time, so we're going to go into the rest off camera. Pop them in the oven for 9 to 10 minutes, and the part 2 will be tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye!